struggling just a little bit. Just a little bit they have been struggling. It is a 6-game losing streak that they are currently riding. And we had mentioned this a few times, that this was one of the harder stretches of the year for the Trailblazers, at least one of the harder stretches remaining on the schedule. And it didn't disappoint for everyone who had to play them, because the Blazers, they lost against Toronto, they lost against Boston, they lost against New York, they shocked the world when they lost to Washington, lost to Cleveland, lost to Phoenix. All of those teams outside of the Washington Wizards are playoff teams. Boston, New York, Toronto, Cleveland, those are 4 of the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. Then you look at the Phoenix Suns. They're currently 7th in the standings in the West, but they are just like 2 games out of being 3rd and 4th. That's how crazy it is right now in the West. Tough games, and the Blazers dropped them. So now they get to the easier stretch of the year, and that starts tonight with 2 games against the Grizzlies, and you would hope that the Blazers can put it together and finally get those wins that they have not had for some time now. And in that game against the Suns, it was a close game. Maybe closer than it should have been. Final score was 130-125. The Blazers came out super hot in the first quarter as they welcomed Vit Krejci to the lineup. As I was laughing with some of the members of the media and posted on social media at the time, I was like, oh, you guys got a guy who shot 40% from beyond the arc, exactly what the team needed. So the rest of the team was like, hey, coach, watch this. We can shoot too. And they did. They shot lights out, scored 41 points in the first quarter, and you're sitting there going, okay, how long can they sustain this? We all know how the Blazers work. That shot's not going to be consistent all the way through. And then that's exactly what happened. Offense started to falter a little bit. The Suns came back, despite the fact that the Blazers had a big lead in this one. Biggest lead of the night. 19 points for your Trailblazers. And they gave it away. The Suns battled back. They took the lead. Their biggest lead of the night was 12. And in the fourth quarter, the Blazers tried to come back. They had a chance late, but a couple unforced turnovers. Tell me where you've heard that story before. Doomed them as they fell to the Suns 130-125. Taking a look at the box score, points in the paint favored the Suns 60-58. Second chance points favored Portland 39-21. Points off turnovers favored Phoenix 25-16. You looked at everything else that went down. We talked about it in the pregame show when we got to our keys to the game. What did the Blazers need to do to win that game? They needed to dominate on the glass. The prior game, Phoenix was out-rebounded by almost 30 rebounds. It was a tough one there. It was 47-45 in favor of the Blazers. We also said they need to defend the three-point arc. Well, that is really what did the Blazers in. They were unable to defend the three-point arc in this one. Phoenix hit 20 three-pointers. Now, Portland did hit 18. The difference was Phoenix hit 48% of their threes in this game, almost 50%. So when they took them, they made them. And the frustrating part was that Portland was playing drop coverage and just was not able to get a hand in the face of the shooter quite often. They were taking advantage of Donovan Clingan dropping. He couldn't get back up in time. And then Grayson Allen and Connor Gillespie were out there just, you know what, we're just going to hit threes and do our thing. They're going to do our thing. Colin Gillespie. I get confused. There's so many, great Gillespies. I just think Cole Gillespie's the only, big Gillespie I could think of. But Colin Gillespie had a career-high 30 points. He was 8 of 14 from beyond the arc, one of the main reasons they were able to come back and sustain that lead. On the Blazers side of things, Toumani Camara had 13 points, 23 points from Jeremy Grant, 14 points, 15 boards from Donovan Clingan. Shaedon Sharpe had 19 points. Drew Holiday had 15. Sidy Cissoko had 12. Blake Wesley had 10. Robert Williams had 14. So there was good scoring there. Just what did them in was, again, you got the points off turnovers, and then you had the three-point defense, two things that the Blazers just absolutely struggled with in that game. So you'd hope that maybe you watch the game film, you learn a little bit, and you have a better performance tonight when you take on the Memphis Grizzlies. I am told, hey, are you from LA? Because my audio is a clipper. Hey, I like that. We're on a different system tonight, Orb, and that's why. It was a late setup. I blame the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Doing, because he stole my proper equipment. He bolted He went down to Spirit Mountain to do his own show and stole my equipment in the process. It's all his fault. All his fault. Also, one of our chatters does say, Scoot. That's right, Scoot Henderson coming back tonight. How can you not be excited for that? Be excited for the return of Scoot Henderson, his first game of the year. I've been waiting for this all season long. I think we all have. In the offseason, we were all hyped because we were hearing that he was having good workouts and he was looking to really put it together, and we were really expecting him to make the jump. And then you hear the news that he tore his hamstring. And you're like, oh no. That's the worst case. We needed something better. Didn't have to get surgery, but it took long. He was supposed to be out 4 to 8 weeks before a return to basketball activities, and they have milked this for the better, because you want to make sure he's healthy, fully ready to go before you just throw him out to the Grizzlies. That works better. I believe that's what the saying is. Some people say throw him to the Wolves, but Minnesota's not in town tonight. But he's ready to go. We'll see what happens with the minutes restriction and all that. Tiago Splitter will tell us here in a little bit when he gets on the podium. We head down to the coach's corner. I would suspect him to probably play about 15 minutes, but he could play 5 minutes and I'd be jazzed. When he gets to the scorer's table and they announce him entering the game, that's going to be a pop. It's going to be a pop, and now the Blazers will go into the game. You're like, oh, look at this. You got Drew Holiday. You got Scoot Henderson. We got Blake Wesley. We have 3 healthy actual point guards. What's going on? I didn't know this was a thing. I thought that you mandatorily had to put one of them on the injured list for a game. But getting Scoot back will be huge. And then the next one to watch is what happens down the stretch with Denny Avdia. Does he come back? He was listed as questionable. I know they're really wanting to make sure he's healthy before he comes back. Don't want to rush him back. I think that's what they did against Washington, and he ended up getting hurt because of it. You want to make him healthy the rest of the way because things are really, really starting to play out in the Blazers' favor. We're going to talk about it a little bit later here on the show about how that trade deadline really, really favored your Blazers, even though they didn't make any actual move on deadline day. They did make a deadline move. Dwop Reith out for the second-round picks for Vit Krejci. But a lot of moves around him. This Memphis team they're playing tonight, the Dallas Mavericks, the LA Clippers, Golden State Warriors, they all made some moves. The Warriors made a move that thinks they might make them better. We shall see. No Jimmy Butler hurts them. Does Kristaps Porzingis fit in? But the other teams got worse. So Portland needs to take advantage of a team like the Grizzlies tonight and really lock it in. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And, of course, go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. Hit us up on the text line. 88528 is the text number. We're going to take a quick break here. We come back. We're going to head to the Coach's Corner here from head coach Tiago Splitter here after the break on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. I'll turn my mic back on for a sec for YouTube. Yes, Scoot is active. He's a go. How many Friends fans do you have out there? I know Cameron's not one. He's way too young. You are? Okay, he said he is. He said he is a Friends fan. Okay, because when Ross is trying to move the couch up the stairs, pivot. That's what we're doing. We're gonna pivot. We're not heading to the coach's corner right now. Shacker working his tail off behind the scenes, getting us some audio. So once he does, we'll adjust properly and make sure everything is dialed in for you. But no, he's down there right now. Sean Heiken's down there, so we'll get some updates on what Tiago Splitter is saying. We'll get you that audio hopefully before the show is done. But tonight the Blazers taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, and this little breakdown does allow me to move ahead and talk about the standings in the Western Conference for just a quick minute. So I told you a second ago that everyone else around the Blazers basically got worse. And the Blazers now need to take advantage of that because the Blazers didn't get worse. In fact, they may have made a small trade in the grand scheme of things. When you are watching a Jaren Jackson Jr. get traded, you're watching an Anthony Davis get traded, you're watching a James Harden get traded, and a Ivica Zubac, all these big names. But the Blazers did not get worse. In fact, they got better, even though it was a small move. Dwop Reith to Atlanta with 2 second-round picks for Vit Krejci. Vit Krejci, who played his first game against the Phoenix Suns with the Trailblazers there. He had just 5 points, but he is a career 40% three-point shooter. When you add a guy who shoots 40% to the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Defenses have to keep him honest. Defenses have to be aware of him. They have to be at the ready at all times. He didn't make a ton in that game against Phoenix. He was a little cold. Keep in mind he had a flight that was delayed and canceled and then had to get on a different flight. Took him forever to get here. He's coming in not knowing any of the playbook. He's practiced for like half a day with the team. He was 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, but I liked 5 of the shots he took. One of them was not his fault. He missed it, but that was because Blake Wesley passed him the ball with like 0.9 seconds on the shot clock. He hung him out to dry. Other than that, though, the shots look good. They'll fall more often than not. They got better because they got exactly what they needed. The teams around them, not so much. Right now, Portland enters tonight's game 10th in the Western Conference at 23-26. Yes, they have lost 6 straight. Yes, they are 4-6 in their last 10. But these 2 games right here can go a very long way in kind of solidifying them as a play-in team, because I really, truly believe that Portland does control its future in that aspect. If they take care of business, they can get in. Let's first look at the teams behind them. Right now, Memphis is the closest, just outside the play-in. They are 2 games behind the Blazers. 2 games. So if Portland wins this back-to-back, that's massive. That's a 2 games, and it puts them 4 games back. That is big, especially for a Memphis team that just traded Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant's going to be out for a few weeks. The team is their relationship's breaking apart if you believe the rumors that they were trying to trade him, but no one really wanted him. So we'll see what Memphis does. But Portland can go a long way in solidifying their spot tonight. Then you got the Dallas Mavericks, who are currently 4 games behind the Trailblazers. They have also lost 6 games in a row, 4-6 in their last 10. They traded Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis has been in and out of the lineup because he deals with injuries. That's what he's done his entire career. But any team with Anthony Davis on it has a chance to win games because Anthony Davis is that darn good. He is incredibly talented. Cooper Flagg's been wonderful. Not a lot else outside of Dallas, so they got some things to work on. So hopefully the Blazers can continue to gain ground there. You have Utah, who did go out and get Jaren Jackson Jr., but we'll see if they decide to try to win or if they go tank mode, because that 2026 pick of theirs is probably something they want. So let's look at the teams above Portland. Phoenix is currently 7th in the play-in. They're not going anywhere. They're winning ball games right now without Devin Booker, which is good. They're 6-4 in their last 10. The crazy part about the Western Conference right now is Phoenix is a play-in team. A play-in team that Portland just lost to in their last game. But Phoenix is just 2 games back from being the number 3 seed. That is how tight it is right now. Denver is the 3 seed at 33-11. Phoenix is the 7 seed at 31-21. Then you have Houston, Los Angeles, Minnesota, all right there, 8 games back or 1 game ahead of Phoenix. So that could all change. Who's your 7th seed, who's your 6th seed, 5 seed, etc. But the interesting part is Golden State and the Clippers. So the Clippers are at 9 right now. The Clippers, who have been one of the hottest teams in the NBA over the last month and a half, traded 2 of their best players. Ivica Zubac, you're gone. James Harden, get out of here. Crazy to think about. Now they got Kawhi Leonard and Nick Batum and Brook Lopez. As long as Brook isn't playing the Blazers and setting a career high in three-pointers made, you know. So that team got worse. Darius Garland, yes, I know they got him in the trade, but injury stuff too. We'll see what happens. But Portland can take advantage of that. Portland can move up. And then, of course, you have the Golden State Warriors. Golden State, 5-5 in their last 10. Don't have Jimmy Butler the rest of the year. They do have Steph Curry, who, until he decides that he does not want to play anymore, will still be a basketball god. And they went and traded. They got off of the headache that has been Jonathan Kuminga. And I don't say that as Jonathan Kuminga is a bad player or a guy you don't want in that locker room. It's just it just hasn't worked out. They clashed from the jump. Quite frankly, I hope that being in Atlanta, I hope it's good for him. Get the reset. But the Warriors got Kristaps Porzingis in that deal. Now KP, he's good when he's healthy. Seems to be a trend here in the NBA. He's a big reason Boston was able to put it together and make a run. But he's jumped around. New York, Dallas, Washington, Atlanta, Boston. Now he's in Golden State. Is he the ticket? I don't know. But Golden State has been not perfect all year long. But I do think with the rest of the teams around him, they're probably going to be a play-in team. But Portland is 4.5 back of them. So, again, the 2 games this weekend, huge. Win those games, that matters. Does Portland catch up to them? I don't know. But they can. All I do know is that you look at those teams around them, I do not see Portland falling out of the top 10 if they put it together and just play good basketball. Basketball that we've seen them play at points this year, it's just a matter of doing it consistently and getting it every night. You had a 6-game losing streak, which I understand, but I will point back out to you, my friends, that was probably the toughest stretch of games the rest of the year for Portland. Let me give you that rundown that I've given you guys so many times. I'm going to get Cameron's nod of approval here. 2 games coming up against Memphis. That's a team that is currently outside of the play-in. They got a game in a week against Utah. That's a team outside of the play-in. They got a game against Chicago. That is a team that is outside of the play-in in the Eastern Conference. They got Charlotte and Atlanta right after that. Charlotte is currently 10th. Atlanta currently 9th in the Eastern Conference. Both of those teams, though, I mean, Atlanta traded the face of their franchise. They're trying to figure out what they're doing. Charlotte is up and down, even though Con Knippel's been great. But those are 2 beatable teams. And then you got Memphis again, currently out of the play. And then you got Indiana, Charlotte, and Utah. We already explained that. Indiana's out of the play-in right now. Utah's out of the play-in. Charlotte on the cusp. Then you got another game where you get two games. Brooklyn and Indiana. 2 teams currently out of the play-in. Milwaukee's still on your schedule. Washington's on your schedule. You have 2 games against the Clippers, who are currently right there ahead of you, but will start to fall. And then you end the year against Sacramento, who currently has the worst record in the Western Conference at 12-40. My point is, this schedule is easier. That is, if you're looking at teams just outside of the play-in right now, not even the teams right on the cusp, but teams outside of the play-in. Again, Sacramento, New Orleans, Washington, Dallas, Brooklyn, Indiana, Brooklyn again, Utah, Indiana again, Memphis, Utah again. The 2 games against Memphis tonight, that's like 13, 14 games against teams that aren't in the play-in right now. Oh, so you give me that schedule, You give me that schedule with a healthy Denny Avdia coming back and a Scoot Henderson who's returning tonight. You have Blake Wesley back in the lineup. Drew Holiday starting to shake off the rust. Yes, I know he didn't look great in crunch time in that game against the Suns, but he is definitely still shaking off rust. Jeremy Grant, who can start to fill back into that sixth-man role. Things are looking up for your Trailblazers, and I mean that honestly. I'm not carrying water. I promise you I'm not carrying water. I have a bad shoulder. Water weighs a lot. You put it in that bucket. I can only go so far before I got to reset. I can't be trusted to carry water. I'm going to show up with a half-empty bucket of water because I had to let some of the weight go. You can't trust me to do that. But I look at the schedule. I look at the teams around the Blazers, most of whom got worse. A schedule that is incredibly favorable for Portland the rest of the way. Portland's going to win ball games. I bet one of our listeners, Sean, he's not in the YouTube chat right now, but I bet him on the last show, I bet him lunch that the Blazers would finish 500 or better the rest of the way. In fact, I bet him that they would finish above 500 the rest of the way. That starts tonight against Memphis, a team they should beat. Knock on wood somewhere. It's a plastic table, but there you go. Cameron did it for you. He found it. It starts tonight with a game they should win against a Grizzlies team that doesn't have their best player in Ja Morant, just traded Triple J, and is in shambles. You lose this game. I'm a vibes guy. Vibes wouldn't be good. Take care of business, my friend. Take care of business. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can hit us up on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, or send us a text. 88528 is the text line. Going to take a quick break, and we will come back. We'll focus on this Memphis team for a little bit. What can Portland expect? Because it might not be what you think. We'll let you know when we come back here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Chime in. Sean did enter the chat. I got that back on my calendar to follow up. It starts tonight. I'll keep track too, and then I won't back out on this bet. If they finish below 500, I'll have to send you my DM contact info, and we will meet up for lunch over the summer on my treat. Are you in the Portland area, or did I just commit to commuting? Depends how far you are. Hey, here's lunch. I'm going to Venmo you $20. Oh, thanks for the laugh. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here for you. Massive shout out to Michael Shacker, working hard behind the scenes, making sure we have some audio to play. He's got it. Let's hear it from head coach Tiago Splitter.
How we doing?
Is Danny gonna go?
No, Danny's not gonna go.
Saw that Blake also hit the injury report. Is he available tonight?
Yeah. He's available. Blake's available. Scooter's available. Who else we have in the list? Okay.
How are Chris and Matisse doing? We haven't really heard much about them.
Yeah, I mean they still not great, you know, up and down sometimes, but sometimes they feel better, sometimes they feel worse. Just you know, the struggles that you go when you have an injury, so it's not always green. So, you know, feel for them, and they all want to play and be part of this, but right now they can't. So, just gotta be patient and go through the process, to be honest.
Tiago, can you maybe put into perspective why this is an important stretch for Scoot?
Why it's important? I mean, I think it's huge for him. Not exactly what is your question. I mean, I think 30 games left. He didn't play a game yet. We miss him a lot during the season, of course. I think, you know, he was a big part of the vision that we had during the summer. And now we get him kind of like super late in the season. He's going to have a couple games here to be his preseason. But meanwhile, the team needs to win. You know, we want to fight it and win every game. So it's going to be interesting to see him. I'm giving him, of course, a little bit of leash. And listen, you know, you can struggle for a little bit, kind. You know, it's part of it. Everybody do when they come back. Even Drew, a veteran that came back and was out, he struggled for a little bit. So it's part of it. You're just gonna at the position that you guys play, that you gotta be very sharp, on point. A point guard is not easy to come and hoop well the first games. So this is what I see for him. I know it's an important part of his career, and he got to prove a lot of people, and we're gonna support him and try to take the best out of him.
Organizationally, do you guys feel like you have a pretty good handle on what he is? Or do you need to see more? Or is this an important thing for you in the organization as far as making decisions about the future?
Yeah, that's probably not. I want to see him competing and performing. About the future, that's on Joe and our staff and our owner. So, you know, my part is to try to take the best out of him and make this team win basketball games. But, you know, hopefully he can do that great and help us.
What did you see in the time that you were working with him over the summer before he got hurt?
So during the summer, he, you know, I guess the same player that you guys saw, physical, getting to the rim, playing fast. He was shooting the ball well, pull-ups, pull-up threes. But of course, that's open gym. That's not like a real NBA game yet. We want to see those things in the game, right? Like we want to see that aggressiveness in an NBA game, and that's why I feel bad for him that he cannot. You know, he couldn't be part of that at the beginning of the season and perform. So now he's gonna have a chance for 30 games to you know, show his game and compete every night.
Tiago, how protective do you have to be with his minutes? With a lot of guys around the league have had hamstring injuries over the last couple of years, even when they've taken long layoffs and had long run-ups, that injury just seems to linger for a lot of guys. So how much do you have to kind of protect that?
Well, I think we've been doing a good job, and you know, he always had to meet certain points of his rehab, and with strength, with speed, with, you know, size of the muscle and size of the, you know, the injury, and he improved, and right now we feel confident he can have a good season and finish the season, of course. Now the minutes is something that we gotta manage. Of course, he's gonna be on some type of minutes restriction, you know, and just be smart about it.
Assuming he gets through tonight, okay, are you going to let him play tomorrow, or is it still no back-to-backs?
So we still got to see how much he's going to play and then evaluate him after the game and make a decision tomorrow.
Tiago, you've had 4 straight opponents shoot 40% from 3. When you're watching film, where do you see that sort of stemming from? Where does that start with?
Well, I think we got to do a better job navigating those screens. We probably gotta be smarter with our matchups. Who is on the game, who is not, and that's my fault. In general, I think we talk about this. This is part of the scout. What we're gonna do, who we playing against, and I don't want to point finger, but we all gotta get better. We know before we play a team, we know what they do, and we gotta be ready for that as a team. When that happens, we gotta just shake it up and improve. There's other things that goes to this whole thing, but it could get a lot of details. Minutes restriction, you got to take guys out, and then you change the defense, you change the matchups. Rob not being able to play a lot of minutes because he's also limited, and he's a good guy to match up those shooters when they come off screens. So there's a lot of little nuances to that. But in general, to summarize, we got to be better, and we got to do a better job.
When you're talking matchups, you're talking about the big man mostly?
Well, the smalls too, and guys that navigate better screens. And the bigs, of course, usually they use those bigs to hand off, to set screens, to play get situations, in and out, quick. And, we play against good teams that do that, so we got to be better.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited. I can't put any other word into that. It just excites me. It's pretty awesome to have him back. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. One of our texters, howdy there, CB. I'm glad the Blazers didn't do any dismantling of our roster. I love that we have players that are coming back. And yeah, that's where I'm at too. I wasn't too worried about the trade deadline. I think they're going to try to get in on some trades if they happen. Giannis not being traded put a little wrench in that. I don't think they were in play for Giannis, but they may have been in play to be a 3rd or 4th team to get in there. But then he also chimes in, I'm in the wrong field. These reporters should ask the coach some really stupid questions. Is that all they can come up with? Good grief. When you talk to a coach all the time, sometimes you just got nothing else, so you just throw them basically what people want to hear when you ask about Scoot Henderson. And yeah, they're easy questions, but sometimes that's all you got. That's why you don't hear me ask too many questions in the post game, because I don't want you texting in about all the dumb questions I ask. I try not to. Don't want to go viral. All right, big shout out to Shacker for getting that audio. Glad we could get it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the Blazers need to do to win this game. It'll be our keys to the game against the Memphis Cubs. Because I don't think this is the Grizzlies, because they don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. because he was traded. And their injury report, Santi Aldama, who has torched the Blazers, out. Brandon Clark, out. Zach Edey, out. Eric Gordon, not with the team, out. Ty Jerome, out. John Morant, out. What do the Blazers need to do to beat the Memphis Cubs? We'll let you know when we come back here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. it's time now for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Memphis Cubs? And I say that jokingly because that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because when the South Bay Lakers G League team came here earlier in the year with no Luka and no LeBron and half their roster sitting out, no Austin Reeves, their 3 best players, they won. It's the NBA. These are still NBA players, so you have to be locked in. The thing is, if you are locked in and you do what you're supposed to do, that can lead to the big leads and a comfortable victory. If you are lazy, then bad things will happen. So we can't have that happen tonight. And like Sean says, let Veet get 25 minutes. He needs more reps with the team to maximize his impact. And I agree with that. And I think hopefully this is the perfect game for that, where you can get out to a quick, comfortable lead, and Shea doesn't have to jump and play 35 minutes, and you can let Veet get a little extra run in that garbage time, if you will. And heck, if it's not garbage time, still play him. Let him get run. Really like how he looked in that first game. Still didn't hit the shots he was supposed to, but he looked good. Really wish Jeremy Grant would have converted the layup, because he had a beautiful pass through the lane. But he moves well. Defensively, played good. Offensively, he's going to hit those shots. Really like his game. But what do the Blazers need to do tonight against Memphis? This Memphis team is crazy. Like I said, the Memphis Cubs for a reason, because this is not the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies are on the injury report or in Utah. Jaren Jackson Jr. traded at the deadline. One of the best rebounding bigs in the game. Love his game. He's gone. Not playing tonight, obviously. He's a member of the Utah Jazz now. Also not playing tonight, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, Eric Gordon, Ty Jerome, Ja Morant. That's a lot of impact to not have on the roster for this game. So, Blazers, take care of business. Do your thing. Don't overthink this. You should be able to run away with this. Get guys like Veet Krejci minutes. Big minutes. Because you're taking care of business. Now, what you really need to do outside of that is play within yourself. You can't let this team beat you in aspects of the game that you should not be beaten at. And what I mean by that is don't hurt yourself and allow them to beat you because of it. If you go back to the game these two played earlier in Memphis, December 7th, Portland had 25 turnovers, individual player turnovers, 26 as a team. Led to 31 points off turnovers. Now, Memphis had a lot of turnovers too, but we know how this Portland team is. If you turn the ball over, you can't get in a rhythm. You're going to struggle. In that game, 3 turnovers from Tumani, 2 from Young Hansen, 5 from Denny, 4 from City, 6 from Shaden Sharp. It was a rough night. You got to take care of the ball. And this Memphis Grizzly team comes in to the game tonight. They average 7.9 steals, which is not a terrible number, my friend. Puts them towards the middle of the road. So they can still get it, but most of those good players sitting out tonight. So don't be lazy with the basketball. I'm going to say that again. You don't usually repeat yourself on the radio, but do not be lazy with the basketball. Sometimes I heard that if you say it 3 times, people will actually remember it. Don't be lazy with the basketball. I know the people out here selling 50-50 tickets just stopped and stared all 3 times I said that. They're going to remember that. They're going to be walking around the arena going, you know what? Don't be lazy with the basketball. That's 4 times. Maybe I'm on the radio and one of the Blazers hears it right now. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Don't be lazy with the basketball. That's 5. The more I say it, the more you think of it. The Blazers cannot be lazy with the basketball. That's 6. Don't be lazy with the basketball. Lucky number 7. I'll stop right there. But the reason I do bring that up, and I say that jokingly, is because how many times have we seen passes that were just no effort passes? Defense didn't have to try. They get their hand in the passing line. Easy turnover, easy points off turnovers. Against a team like this that is a shell of themselves with all these players out tonight, you can't give them freebies. Take care of the basketball. Also a great game with no Zach Edey, no Brandon Clark, obviously no Jaren Jackson Jr., Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams, Tumani Kamara. Everyone should absolutely cook on the glass. There is no reason that this game should even be a competition in the rebound department. Portland should take advantage. Get those offensive rebounds, those second chance points. I think you'll be fine. And then, of course, you want them to shoot the basketball well. Last time Memphis matched up with Portland, you looked at the way that broke down. Jaren Jackson, he didn't play well. And you would think a team would lose most times when he didn't play well. He only had 6 points. But it was almost everyone else in double figures. Santi Aldamo had 22 points. He knows how to take it to him. Zach Edey had 12 points, 10 boards. He's not playing. So take advantage of these guys being out of the lineup. Jock Landell, he had 15 that night. He's not here. Just take care of business. Maybe Scoot Henderson has a great game. Vit Krejci has a great game. Those are the things I want to see. I'm a little disappointed no one in the YouTube chat typed in, don't be lazy with the basketball. But, you know. There you go. Cameron's keeping track. That's 8. Now, I want to point something out here before we go. Crazy stat of the night. I went through the archives for a little bit. I went through the great, wonderful website that is Basketball Reference to look at how many times Ja Morant has played in Portland. And everyone talks about Luka. Luka has not played in Portland as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Think about that for a second. And he missed his final game as a member of the Dallas Mavericks here. It's been a minute. Ja Morant, for those of you keeping track, Ja Morant has not played a game in Portland since November 2nd of 2022. May I remind you that we are now in the calendar year 2026. It has been a little over 3 years since he played in Portland. In fact, since the start of the 2023-2024 season, Ja Morant has played the Blazers just once in 8 games. That was back on November 25th, 2024 in Memphis. And with these next 2 games, that'll be game 9 and 10, meaning since the start of the 2023-2024 season, Ja Morant has played 1 out of a possible 10 games against the Portland Trailblazers. Oof. I've long been the guy who argues. I get injuries do happen, but the whole letting people sit and stars getting out so you can tank, I've never been a fan of. I want to see the best players. This is one of those situations. One of our texters says, on the numerical roster, which one comes first, 00 or 0? It's one of those odd things I think of. I'm going to have to verify that. Part of me wants to say 0. 0, 1, 3, 99, 00. 00 to 0 would look weird. So I think 00 is at the end. But I'm going to verify this because that is a very good question. I'm not going to dodge you like Ja Morant dodges playing in Portland. I'm going to go find an answer to this question. But the fact you asked it is smart. You're asking about 00. Why does 00 matter? Because if you're just tuning in, somebody who wears 00 will be playing tonight. And no, it's not Carmelo Anthony turning back the clock. It is the return of Scoot Henderson. It's not a key to the game, but it's going to be a key to our enjoyment here. It is going to be so nice to see Scoot Henderson back on the court tonight. It is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be incredible. Isn't that right, Cameron? Isn't it going to be great?
It is going to be incredible.
That's right. See, I gave him the mic. I put him on spot. He's a little worried. He said it's a lot of pressure to be on here. But you know what? I ain't letting you get off scot-free. I ain't letting you wear that headset the whole time and not at least say hi. So what's your key to the game?
I'd say the key to the game for me, just make shots. We got a big thing back at my school. I run the newscast, and for our basketball teams, we always just got to say make shots. That's the most important thing.
You've got to make your free throws. You've got to make your jump shots. You've got to make your threes. You've got to make your layups. You just got to take care of business. The Orb asked real quick, too. So do superstars hate being in Portland or just dislike losing to us? I don't know. They just dislike losing to them. I don't know. There is no conspiracy, but it is fun to pretend like there's one and have a little bit of fun with it. All right, I hear the music. That means it's time to go. Well done on your radio debut. You did just fine. But it's time for me to go, not you. Keep it locked here, because coming up next, the principal, Curtis Long, has the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. Then he'll hand the mic off to your radio voice of the Blazers, Travis Demers, for Grizzlies versus Blazers here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. And of course, when it's all said and done, keep it locked in to Rip City Radio for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Grizzlies, Blazers tonight at Moda. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.